So now let's look at how we solve for sides using algebra. So if you look at number 1, it says ABC is an equilateral triangle, which means all sides are equal. And I want to solve for both x and y. So I know that all sides are equal, and I'm going to use algebra. So when you set up an equation, you can only have one unknown. So I wouldn't set up BC is equal to AC, because then we have two different variables, and it wouldn't allow me to solve for anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set AB equal to BC. So AB is 49, BC is 3x plus 1, and I'm going to solve for x. So I subtract 1 on both sides, I get 48 equals 3x. When I divide by 3, 3 goes into 4 one time with 1 left over, 3 goes into 18 16 times. So x is 16. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to set AB equal to AC, and now I have 49 equals 18y minus 41. So now I'm just going to solve for y. So I add 41 to both sides, additive inverse. I get 90 equals 18y. When I divide both sides by 18, y is going to equal 5. So I have solved for both x and y. Okay, then you could do the same thing for number 2. You would set RS equal to ST, since both of them are x. And then you would solve for x and go back and plug them in. So you would do that on all, well, actually, you know what? Let's do number 2. Because it says find x and the measure of each side. Sometimes you guys get lazy and don't solve for that part. So we're going to do SR is equal to ST. So I'm going to say 12x minus 22 equals 10x minus 6. I'm going to add 6 to both sides, and I get 12x. I don't have to do that. 12x equals 18 equals 10x. And then, actually, I shouldn't have even done that. So now I'm going to subtract 12x on both sides. You guys probably did this a smarter way than I did. Is negative 2x, divide both sides by negative 2, and x equals 9. So now that I know x equals 9, I have to go back, and actually I don't even think x is equal to 9, because 22 minus 6 is 16. 16, not 18. 16, not 18. So now that makes x equal to 8. All right, well, I caught my mistake, thankfully, and I would have checked my answer. So when I plug it back in, I can see that it was not going to be 9. All right, so now that I know x is 8, I'm just going to plug in for here, here, and here. So if I plug in 8 for SR, 12x minus 22, 12 times 8 minus 22. So for SR, is going to be 96 minus 22, so that's going to give me 74, right? So SR is 74, the length is 74. ST, 8, 80 minus 6 is 74, so that one's 74, and then hopefully this one is also 74. So when I plug in 8, 56, RT is 56 plus 18, and that is also 74. So it's perfect. I checked my answer because all of them are equilateral, so that's beautiful. All right, let's jump down to number 4. DEF is an isosceles triangle, and we know that DE is congruent to EF. So find x and the measure of each side. So I'm going to set these guys equal to each other. Solve for x. So subtract 5x to both sides and add 13 to both sides. I get 3x equals 30, x then equals 10. So x equals 10. So side EF and side ED are going to be the same. So that's 50 plus 17 is 67. So they have a length of 67. And then this guy down here, DF, is going to be 31. Okay, so that's how we solve using algebra. Back here on the back page, this is where you have to set a picture up. So if you jump down, let's do 8 and 9 together. So MKL, KL is an isosceles triangle with MK being congruent to ML. Oh, no, I wrote that wrong. With MK being congruent to ML. If MK is 7x minus 15, and KL is 4x minus 5, and ML is 10x minus 42, find x. So on these, you need to set your picture up first before you start solving. So now I know these guys are congruent. 7x minus 15 equals 10x minus 42. I'm going to bring my negative 7x over, and I get negative 15 equals 3x minus 42, and then I'm going to add 42 to both sides. When you add 42 to both sides, I'm going to get, 27. 27 equals 3k, or x, and then x equals 9. So on number 8, x is going to equal 9. And then when I go back and plug it in, I get 90 ml is going to be the same as mk. So I'm going to get 90 minus 42, and that's going to be 48. So that measure is going to be 48, and then KL is going to be 9 times 4 is 36, minus 5 is 31. All right, so we've got to go back and plug in, find out the sides and the measurement. All right, if we look at number 9, let's do number 9. ABC is an isosceles triangle with AB being congruent to BC. If AB is 3x plus 41 and BC is 8x minus 54 and AC is 12x minus 103, find x in the measure of each side. All right, so go ahead and pause that, see what you get, and when you jump back in, I'm just going to tell you the answers. All right, so we should be getting that x equals 19, and AB and BC, their length is going to be 98, and the length of AC is going to be equal to 125. Okay, so that's how we use algebra and math. Good luck. Let me know if you have questions.